You know what? No, I'm going to go no now. Aaron Judge is not a Hall of Famer.
So, Ben, when you look at the Blue Jays' top three starters, Manoah, Gosman, Stripling, how do you feel they stack up against their most likely opponent in the Seattle Mariners, who also have an incredible top three to go to in Gilbert, Castillo, and Ray?
Yeah, that's a great trio, really. I mean, Gilbert is lined up now for that final game. Probably see him bumped to the Wildcard series. You would think that's the logical move on the part of the Mariners. And then, yeah, you add in Ray, you add in Luis Castillo. Honestly, just purely off of the numbers, the Mariners would have one of the better trios in baseball. I mean, the Mets probably number one, but this might be ahead of the Jays. Just if you're looking at starting pitching alone, the Mariners bullpen is also very good. I think where you start to see the difference is the Blue Jays have a great offense, and the Mariners offense is good. At times very good, depending on the status of Julio Rodriguez, and we'll learn more about that in the next couple of days here. But the Blue Jays offensively are a way better team than Seattle. So maybe the Seattle rotation's a little bit better in that number 3 spot. Castillo v. Stripling, that's a pretty big gap, which is why I'd probably give the Mariners a slight edge. But this is a team as a whole that I think the Blue Jays are ahead of the Mariners.
So looking back on March of 2022, had you told me Ross Stripling was doing what he was doing, I would have just straight up told you were lying to me and messing with me. Like, I honestly, he has been a revelation. I know Chris Black, producer with Sportsnet there, ranked the 10 pitchers in Blue Jays history that finished a season with 3.01. And Ben, it was the best of the best to ever pitch on this team. He has become a legit starter. So I know you haven't got a crystal ball, and we're going to just need to sit and wait and see what this front office does. But if you, Ben Nicholson-Smith, are the general manager of the Blue Jays, do you extend him a qualifying offer? And on top of that, are you trying to lock this man up?
Well, I definitely would be trying to lock him up. I think with the absence of Stripling, that creates a clear need for the Blue Jays in the rotation. I mean, imagine this team without him. That tells you that they are going to need to find a way to add some sort of starting pitching, especially because they don't necessarily have anyone at AAA who's just pushing up, clearly belonging in that next spot. So, Ricky Tiedemann's exciting. We'll see when he gets to the majors. It could even be next year, but you're probably not counting on him out of spring training, or at least if you do, that's unwise. I think at the same time, qualifying offer, we don't know exactly how much it'll be. Let's ballpark it at $19 million. That's a lot of money. And so to me, I would not do that. I would not qualify Stripling. Not sure what the Jays are going to do. I think it's reminiscent of the Steven Matz situation where the Blue Jays discussed it last year internally and ultimately did not qualify Matz. And he got a great deal, 44 over 4 years. Maybe Stripling ends up with the deal along those lines. That's probably on the high end. I certainly think there'll be a lot of teams in it 2 years. You can make a case for 3. Stripling's put himself in a great position, had a great year. And, I think qualifying offer or not, he's someone that the Jays certainly should be looking to try to bring back. And he'll have a lot of interest. I think there's no question.
Do you believe in him? Like, I'm not saying do you think he's actually a 3.01 pitcher every year, but do you look at Ross Stripling and what he's done this season and see him as a very viable number 3 or 4 in most rotations going forward?
Yeah, I do. I think, especially for 2023, I think Stripling's someone you definitely want on your team next year. For me, he's also beyond being a good pitcher, he's really easy to deal with. And so, you think about the media bias that kind of seeps into this sometimes, but you try to take that away. So when I look at Ross Stripling, you still have a right-hander throwing 91, 92, right? So, okay, what happens if he loses in the course of the next 4 years a couple miles per hour? What does that look like then? And I know the changeup's really good and the command is good, and he's someone who pitches with a whole lot of conviction and just a great approach to pitching, which is part of the reason he is where he is. But 4 years from now, is Ross Stripling a major league starting pitcher? If not, what is he? Do you want to be paying him like he's a major league starting pitcher? So to me, I think you can be really confident in 2023. Of course, you're going to have to go multiple years to get him, I would think. So you're talking about a multi-year deal. Is that 2? Is that 3? To me, it wouldn't be 4. But maybe some major league team disagrees with me. Maybe that's the price they have to pay. So we'll see.
We really appreciate all of you within the walk-off community. This thing continues to grow and become an animal of its own. It's a little bit overwhelming, but honestly, we love talking Blue Jays baseball and all the interaction that you folks are involved with us. Thank you so much. Discord, feel free to join it. That is always free. The show, or the link is in the show notes. You can follow us on Twitter at Walk Off Podcast, on Instagram, the Walk Off Podcast. And if you are watching on YouTube currently and you're not subscribed, we'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button. All the best, everybody. Cheers.